Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jim Grisanzio from the Oracle Groundbreakers team. We're back for another conversation to talk about a conference that's coming up in a couple of months, the APAC Oracle Groundbreakers virtual tour. This is a annual event that takes place, and this year, obviously, it's virtual. And I'm here with Francisco Alvarez Munoz. Francisco, welcome. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's always a pleasure to be here. And especially in these challenging times, the goal is trying to bring in most knowledge as possible and keep helping everyone with the exchange of knowledge and bringing everybody together and a little bit closer, even in these pandemic times.
Yeah, it's definitely been a wild time. You're down there in Australia. We're in the same hemisphere, but you're a little bit south than I am, and because I'm up here in Japan. And so I wanted to talk to you because you're one of the organizers of the event, and I've known you for a few years now. And tell me a little bit about the conference that you guys are going to be putting on in a couple of months.
And generally, as you know, we try to run the APAC tour as a physical event that basically we get a core of the speakers that travel across many different countries in different physical events. And this time, due to the pandemic, travel is basically forbidden. Here in Australia, we're basically isolated in a big prison. We cannot go out of Australia, basically. Nobody can go out, nobody can come in. But the same is happening all across the globe. That means in these challenging times, the tour this year is changing. We are trying to bring a conference, multi-language conference, across all the Asia-Pac as much as we can. Basically, the concept is to have tracks in English, tracks in Japanese, tracks in Chinese, and tracks in Korean. That's our main goal. That's why currently we have the call for papers open at https www.apacgbt.com, GBT for Groundbreakers Tour. And we are trying to attract speakers for all these languages and across many different technologies. This kind of event is challenging because we need to get the best content that can attract people from the community to watch, and also organize with different languages is a huge challenge. Yeah. That's when all the user groups from the region that we are working before are working together as a group. Thanks to APAC, you see the umbrella user group that support user groups in the region. We are working together to basically, as a team, to achieve the goal that we wanted. As per example, the English-speaking countries, such as, for example, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, will work together, selecting the topics for the English tracks, working together to define if we will be better working with 1, 2, or more tracks daily, because the event will run across 2 weeks. The main goal is to run different technologies, don't crash to each other. This way we can attract people that want to watch Java, they will be their track of Java. Database, they will have their own track and so on. And also have tracks on different languages. There will be the same that will happen with the countries that are speaking English. The Japanese Oracle user group, Java user groups, and so on, they will be responsible to work together with us and select the topics, the papers that they want to do, create the agenda with us, and also be the moderators on the sessions to ensure that we can introduce the speakers. In case of any issue, we can help, moderate questions in the end, and so on. And the same will happen to all the other languages.
So just clarify for me, because I'm not sure I got everything clear, because you've got multiple things happening here at the same time. You get different technology tracks spread across 2 weeks, but the languages Is that going to be a day of Japanese, a day of Korean, or is just specific sessions will be in those
Now will be
languages?
different tracks on days, and will honestly, I will depends of the volume of abstracts we receive. If we have enough English topics that are attractive to the community, that let's see, we can have 2 tracks per day on English
I see.
during Monday to Friday, they will be run that way. Our main goal is to try to run afternoons, not a whole day because the people get tired. Around 4 or 5 sessions per track per day. That could be an option. If we know that, one example, the Chinese community prefer weekends. If that's the case, we could run the English content and other languages. They have long volumes of abstracts submitted during the week, and Chinese have be running their afternoons on Saturday and Sunday, as they do their events in the tour in the past. And everything can happen. There's nothing that is exactly written on stone. Right. I will depends of the needs of each user group, because they will be the ones managing their own tracks. They will decide the best times for them, the best days they will be run for them, and then we will organize together. And for a previous experience, we was expecting to have around minimum of 2 tracks on English per day, Monday to Friday, on afternoons, and for 2 weeks. And then we will see with the volume of content, if it's a huge volume of content, we can expand that. We have the technology and the experience to make multiple tracks run on simultaneously, and also in different languages, if the case.
All right. It's interesting, you do have a lot of options here, and I kind of like the fact that you're considering doing sessions in half a day. Some of the conferences I've been to so far, and in the virtual times that we're in, you get these things where they go like for 24 hours around the globe, that kind of thing, which is a unique way of doing it, right? Or you get sessions that run all day, every day, right? Which again is unique. I think people are experimenting with different methodologies to deliver this content in a virtual format. And so it's good to, it's actually good to hear that you're going to consider doing these things basically a half a day, because you've got an added level of complexity here with the languages. I was on half of the tour last year. I didn't go on the whole tour because it was too big and I had other things to do. But I was looking forward to going on the whole tour this year. I want to do the whole thing. But then 2020 happened, and here we are. But yeah, you've got this added complexity, this added level of complexity with the different languages. So this is October 19th through the 30th. That's the date.
Correct.
Of the actual sessions, and call for papers is open right now, right?
That's correct. Call for papers open up to the 22nd of August, and is a high possibility will be going to be extended up to the end of the month, especially to allow more speakers from the other languages we're working with. And we are closely working with the local user groups in Japan, China, and Korea, but we also like to get the community itself to get the interest also to join and decide to start also sharing technology. Because as I mentioned many times before, I can have done something that implementation of something that I have done that I learned the good and bad things. If I can share that today, someone that will help a lot of people, and also a lot of people doing the same will help a lot more people. That are a cascade effect that I would like to invite people that if you think you are not good enough to speak, that's not the case. If you have any experience, any knowledge of something you have done, I will encourage you to submit your abstracts, because the community for sure will like to hear that.
All right, excellent. Okay. Now, on some of the technologies here, you're going to be running sessions on Java, whole day on Java. You mentioned cloud. Just looking at my list here, DB, developer tools, and applications. Talk for a little bit about that mix of technology. Are these the hottest things that the community are calling for right now?
That's kind of the mix. We have that's the heart of the main streams that the community is asking at the moment. But even in the case, we're open to submissions from other topics. They're not in the list that we can, if it's interested, that we miss it. And the community, especially the user groups, when reviewing the submissions are interested, that's important. Because right now we are seeing a lot of interest on cloud native, cloud computing, database, especially developing with databases with APACs, autonomous databases, analytics that include also machine learning, blockchain, and so many other technologies that are involved on these segments that we try to centralize on main pillars that will make it easy to people to fit in one of them and make it easy to us to have tracks. Of course, if we have enough submissions, we will love to have tracks for each kind of the topics that we are getting, but let's see what's happening.
How many speakers are you expecting?
My goal is to have around 100 to 120 speakers speaking in the event. That's my goal. Just to give you one example, I already managed it with the webinar tour in the past in 2000 that run 2018 and 2017, 2018. Just last year, I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. I managed 62 speakers and webinars running during the 4 weeks. That's only myself doing that. Now I will be the help of the community, other user groups. We have even more mature technology to run these kind of things, and we hope that we can achieve that goal.
That's at scale. We just finished the Yatra tour a few weeks ago, back in July, and they had about 100, I guess, speakers over 2.5 weeks. One thing about this community is that, these, tours that we did, they did things at scale. So 100 speakers is insane. Okay, another feature which is very interesting is the hands-on labs. When you think in terms of hands-on labs, you think in terms of people behind a keyboard, all huddled behind a keyboard, who are working together on something sort of like, like an agile sort of Scrum sort of environment. But people are now going to be distributed all over the world. Now, obviously, in this situation. So how do you run a hands-on lab virtually?
Well, it's challenging, as you can imagine. And we are planning to have the most possible number of hands-on labs that we can achieve. And of course, the challenge is they will be running in different languages too. We are working with teams, finding the right people at the moment to be able to do that. And our main goals is basically having the capability to the people that want to participate to register in advance. And when they register, they will get all the information they need. Have the proper people in their own language available to guide them initially in how everything works, what the hands-on lab would achieve, is playing step by step, and also giving them the opportunity to connect, test by themselves, and have the capability of people to support them of any issues, basically get by the hand and help them step by step to achieve from the start to the end of the hands-on, and learn by themselves, by their practicing and doing the things themselves. That's the main goal that we have it. We are working with the ACE program, the Groundbreakers program, and the Java ambassadors too, and try to get the most quantity of hands-on that we can do it. And this way we can reach more people too. And also we are trying to work also with Oracle University to bring some interesting things to add to this tour with them.
Interesting things. Is that like a teaser for an announcement or something? What is
Of course. We're looking at some things we can do together with Oracle University, and the only people they will gain with this is the community, and we are very excited.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, I'll let that emerge. You mentioned all the different groups that you're interacting with, the Java developers, the ACE developers, and then the Groundbreakers as well. And so you've been doing community development for a long time globally. Talk for a minute about, how that, the value that comes not only to yourself in terms of actually doing this type of a work, but the benefit that others, people, particularly young people, students and stuff, as they get involved with these communities, what's the benefit that comes to them and their contributions?
Look, I started with the concept and working with this in 98. That means basically, 98, gosh, long time ago. And we started doing the tours initially with Latin America 12 years ago. And basically how this started was when I was in the circuit speaking in conference, thanks to the ACE program in that moment. I was talking with Tim Howe, Tom Kite, Graham Wood, and many other speakers that were in circuit at that time, if they knew about Latin America, one example, and if they already spoke any time over there. And the reaction I had was, oh, Latin America had people using Oracle? Oh, we have community in Latin America. We have the user groups in Latin America. We had no idea. When I heard that feedback, I decided something needs to be done. And that's when I founded LLC, helped to found a few user groups around Latin America, unite all the ones that already existed. And I did a proof of concept of the tour during the first event in Chile, back in 2008 with Tom Kite and many other speakers. And it was very good to know that the acceptance was great. We had people coming out across from Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. The people that come from Uruguay became the Uruguay user group, and we started working even more together. From Argentina, the same. And in that moment that I was the only person from Latin America that was now participating in Oracle conferences around the globe, now we have hundreds. And now this came from this, that seed that we put 12, 14 years ago. And now everybody knows that we have a big number of people, a lot of knowledge and hunger to share knowledge from Latin America. We have, from having a couple of ACE directors, now we have many ACE directors, Groundbreakers tours, Java champions, and so on. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And now these people show the hunger, the desire they have to share knowledge, and the communities were only growing. Now, Latin America is very well known. The same is happening with Europe. The same is happening with APAC. And we are growing. And everybody is starting to understand that the best way to learn, the best way to improve yourself is helping others, sharing knowledge. That's the best way. I started a long time ago in the forums. That was make me become an Oracle ACE director back in a long time ago already, in 2008. I was for around 12, almost a year, was the #1 responder on and contributor to the OTN forums in that time. And it was just because of that. It was so good to help people in the forums, find a challenging issue, start engaging, finding the solution and share that with the others and help the people that thank you, come so well, and you learn so much, some interesting things in the process. That's amazing. And that's the community. That's what helped the people to create events like this, the Yatra, and so on. The only ones that gain with this is the community itself.
Interesting. You learn by contributing. So it's just
Yep.
this self-referral sort of like, feedback loop, right? And I know, I mean, I've known you for a few years now, and the communities are very substantial. And I know they came from very, very humble, from a humble start. Because I've been on some of these tours now, and physically, so back in the olden times, when we did things for real. So the APAC Groundbreakers virtual conference was the old tour, October 19th through the 30th, and epic 100 plus speakers, 120 I think your goal was. That's insane. Call for papers is open now, so people should submit now, even if you're this is your first paper, go for it, right? And yeah, there you have it. Any final thoughts?
As I said, that's a community dream that we are trying to bring, and we need your help. Please submit your papers. If you are not keen to submit this paper this time or be a speaker, please join us during the event. The event is free. It's free to join when the registrations are open. And it's not only for the APAC. Do it to the time zone that we will be. Many people from Europe will be able also to join. I will be not surprised to see people from the US, from Latin America also joining. And of course, I invite all my good friends on India also to submit papers and also to participate in the event too. It will be basically overlapping with their time zone too.
Cool. Excellent. Francisco in Australia, thank you very much. We will talk to you on an ongoing basis, and then, when the tour starts as well. Be good.
Thank you so much. Be safe, everyone.